It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, I'm Rupa Ramani and you're watching Sports This Week. It's a roundup of all the top stories from the week that was. In fact, the week started with US President Donald Trump getting booed again. What's new, you ask? For one, it happened at the Washington Commanders NFL game. Trump wants Washington to name their stadium after him. But clearly, fans don't want any of it. Over in Formula One, Max Verstappen displayed championship mettle when he bounced back from pit lane to a podium finish in Brazil. His historic win brought back memories from the golden days. Over in chess, Dutch Grandmaster Anish Giri has mocked and trolled India's critics after Ian Nepomniachtchi blamed his FIDE World Cup exit on the conditions in the country. And Fabiano Caruana II spoke about lack of proper facilities. Giri had the perfect response. India is going crazy over Lionel Messi's GOAT Tour visit. Packages to meet the football icon have crossed the $120,000 mark. Will it make up for the Kerala snub? And more importantly, will the organisers and Messi himself deliver? Speaking of Indian football, that is bleeding, unfortunately. Top stars have requested immediate action. Calls for the Indian Cricket Board to intervene are growing too, with ISL being in a limbo. But will the richest cricket board step in? All of that and more heading your way. In the United States, there's politics, there's sports, and then there is Donald Trump, trying to always make a concoction of the two. And of course, nothing beats his unmistakable stamp on it all. From the Oval Office to the NFL sidelines, Trump wants his name everywhere. Reports say the US president wants the new Washington Commanders Stadium to bear his name. Only problem, the fans aren't buying it. They don't want it because the same fans booed him, and loudly, during his rare NFL visit, a moment that perfectly sums up Trump's ugly love-hate relationship with the American sporting landscape currently. Now, ever since he clawed his way back into the White House, Trump's obsession with sports has been on full display right through. But let's be honest here. He's not your typical sports lover. He's a man who treats every game like a boardroom, every team like a business proposition, and every athlete like a pawn. First came his ban on transgender women in female sports. Then he lashed out at those who refused to toe the line here. Athletes, journalists, teams, mayors. He spared none. He followed it up by threatening to move the FIFA World Cup matches away from Boston. Why? Because he thought the mayor wasn't doing the job properly. Now he's at it again, trying to strong-arm Washington Commanders into naming their new domed stadium after him. Now, two things stand out here. It was the president who made it possible, and it's what the president wants. Notice the pattern here. It's never about the sport. It's always about Donald Trump. But the fans are done with the Trump show. At the Commanders' home game against the Detroit Lions, when Trump appeared on the big screen, the boos were deafening. It was the first time a sitting US president attended an NFL regular season game in almost 50 years. That's incredible, sure, but the crowd made sure he didn't feel welcome. And this isn't new. Trump has been booed at the US Open, at the Super Bowl, at the FIFA Club World Cup. Everywhere he goes, it's the same chorus: rejection. Now, this matter here is personal for Commanders fans because earlier this year, Trump told the franchise to drop their new name and bring back their old one, the Washington Redskins, a name scrapped in 2020 after sponsors and Native American groups called it racist. But Trump didn't care. He even threatened them.
If they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of the ridiculous moniker, Washington Commanders, I will make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington.
So there it is, Trump's version of leadership. Not persuasion, no negotiations, but getting his way done. Now, this is the same playbook he's used everywhere. Use power, demand loyalty, and punish defiance. And his sports record reflects that perfectly. When athletes knelt during the national anthem during his previous term, he called them traitors. When the NBA spoke up for racial justice, he told them to shut up and play. For Trump, sport isn't about fair play, it's about power play. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, the 2028 LA Olympics, he's already staking his claim.
You know what? I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th. Look at the way this works out.
Classic Trump rewriting history with himself as the headlining act. Why else would he replace Barack Obama's official White House portrait with his own? But here's the thing, you can remodel the White House all you like and fill it with gold all you want. You can force your name on stadiums and teams, sure, but you can't force change, and you have to earn your place with performance, not power, with legacy and not being loud, because fans don't cheer for the man who demands applause, they cheer for the ones who earn it. And threatening teams, forcing his approach isn't how you exactly do that. Maybe Trump needs to be reminded of just that. They say nobody remembers who finishes second, but at the Brazil Grand Prix this weekend, that saying was completely turned on its head because Formula One world isn't talking about the winner, McLaren's Lando Norris. It's talking about the man who finished third, Red Bull's Max Verstappen. From the pit lane to the podium, this wasn't just a comeback drive, this was a statement that champions don't fade, they fight. And Sao Paulo once again proved you can never, ever count Max Verstappen out. Formula One is built on speed, strategy, and split-second decisions. So when a driver overtakes or fights back, it's impressive, but not entirely shocking. But what Verstappen did in Brazil was extraordinary. Both Red Bull cars were knocked out in Qualifier 1, the first time in 19 years. It was a nightmare Saturday, and when Verstappen woke up on Sunday, even he didn't see a podium in his stars.
To be on the podium from the pit lane, I didn't expect that at all. An incredible result for us. Very happy with that and just very proud of everyone within the team as well.
But that's where his championship DNA kicked in. Calm, composed, calculated. He sliced through traffic like a surgeon, turned chaos into control, and reminded the world this is how champions function. Let's not forget last 2 seasons haven't been easy on Max or Red Bull. The Christian Horner controversy early last year threw the team into chaos. Rumors of Verstappen leaving the team dominated headlines for months. Sponsors questioned loyalty. The media questioned his temperament. And yet, amidst all of that storm, he still won the 2024 Drivers' Championship. This year too, Red Bull has been rocked. Horner exits mid-season, internal power struggles resurfaced, and suddenly the once unstoppable Verstappen was out of the title race. That's what everyone's been saying, but the last few races, everything's changed. With 3 to go, 83 points up for grabs, Verstappen now sits 49 points behind Lando Norris. Yes, it's a mountain, but if there's one thing Max has shown us, it's that he doesn't fear mountains, he scales them. Because if he can rise from pit lane to podium in Interlagos, he can rise from deficit to dominance in the championship too. That's what he will believe. His partner, Kelly Piquet, summed it up perfectly on social media. In fact, Verstappen's will to fight goes beyond the grid. Last year, he took on the FIA itself. When the governing body banned swearing and started monitoring driver language, Verstappen refused to conform. He didn't care about fines, reprimands or warnings. For him, authenticity mattered more than approval. Sure, critics called it arrogance, but to his fellow drivers, it was refreshing. A champion who spoke his truth and did not spew PR scripted lines. That's the paradox of Verstappen. Rebel on the outside, relentless within. And for the purists, his Brazil Grand Prix performance was more than just a race. It was a callback to Formula One's golden age. Back in 1991, a certain Ayrton Senna, Brazil's own icon, won his first home Grand Prix under unimaginable pain. His gearbox jammed, he was stuck in 6th gear for the final laps, muscle cramps tore through his body, he could barely steer. But he crossed the line victorious. Senna couldn't even lift the trophy that day, but he somehow managed to do it. 34 years on, another driver from a different nation, a different generation at Brazil reminded us of that same spirit. Verstappen didn't win the trophy in Interlagos, but he did win something more valuable: hearts, respect and admiration. Because this wasn't about Red Bull's dominance, it was about machinery. It wasn't about machinery or strategy or luck, it was about mindset. A mindset that says, even when the odds are against me, I'm still going to race you. I'm still going to fight you and I'm still going to make you remember my name. That's why Max Verstappen is more than just a driver. He's a phenomenon. From the pit lane to P3, from chaos to calm, he reminded us why Formula One will always need drivers just like him. Drivers who don't follow trends, they set them. Drivers who don't give up no matter what. And that's the real victory. In Brazil, Lando Norris may have taken home the trophy, but Max Verstappen took home the story. Because in Formula One, that's one legacy that will last forever. What started as an India versus the world debate has now turned into a mockery. Not of the event, but of two grandmasters who seem to be singing a completely different tune. World Blitz champion Ian Nepomniachtchi and American star Fabiano Caruana are facing massive backlash. This after questioning India's organisation and conditions at the FIDE World Cup. Now let's set the board right here. This is the first time in 23 years that India is hosting the FIDE World Cup. A massive moment for a country that's now become the new powerhouse of global chess. The tournament began earlier this month and runs till the 25th of November. India's top hope Gukesh Domraju has been knocked out and some big names have fallen early. But instead of applauding the rise of new challengers, some elite players have chosen to blame everything else. First in line, Ian Nepomniachtchi, the Russian grandmaster known for his lightning play and fiery temper, was knocked out in the second round itself and stormed out of the venue. This happened last week, checked out of his hotel and then of course blamed India. Initially, his criticism was broad, conditions in India, but later he got more specific.
The big problem for me, and probably for many others, is the food. Meat isn't really available, basically just chicken. The hotel too. Even other chess players posted about it. Maxim Chigayev, for instance, showed that his 5-star hotel view was of a construction site.
So his problem was too much chicken and a bad hotel view. Right, because nothing ruins a grandmaster's focus like a construction site. And apparently the sight of chicken on your plate puts you at a strategic disadvantage. Now, to be fair, some players also mentioned the heat, but let's not forget chess isn't played outdoors. You're sitting in air-conditioned halls, not running a marathon in the humidity. We're speaking of peripheral issues here like heat, the food. Where would you rate being robbed? Has to be right up there, isn't it? That is what happened to Indian players when they traveled to Spain for a chess tournament a couple of years ago. You did not see them blaming the conditions there after what would have been a harrowing experience. Now, truth is, athletes are expected to adapt to conditions worldwide. That's what it is about. When Indian players travel to Europe or the US, they don't complain about the cold, the food, or the lack of spice. They just play. The second name in this controversy, Fabiano Caruana, except he didn't say it himself. His second did. Now, for the uninitiated, a second in chess is like a coach or assistant, someone who the player trains with. Caruana's second here claimed that other players told him there were bed bugs in hotel rooms. Not first-hand experience, not evidence, just someone told me. That's not a statement, that's a WhatsApp forward. And this is where Anish Giri came in, the Dutch grandmaster famous for his wit, his sarcasm and his ability to deliver a burn with a smile, said this.
I'd be lying if I said that it was not a challenge to play in India. But it's the same the other way around. But it's fair because when I play in my cold city, there are Indians playing there and suffering without Indian food. But it was not too hot here. The food was reasonably diverse with Western dishes too, like pasta, etc. The spice level was not as high as I was fearing. Some American guy is telling us that we have bed bugs here. And they're saying that multiple sources have told them. I don't have bed bugs in my room as far as I know. Some of these things are exaggerated. Just ridiculous. You can blame everything on the second, but if you don't want to blame it on the second, you have to go with blaming other things.
Brutal honesty served with a pinch of sarcasm. That's classic Giri, and he's right. Because here's the irony. Fabiano Caruana isn't even playing the event, so his concern for players' hotel conditions feels less like a complaint or critique and more like commentary from the sidelines. Let's not forget, Caruana has had a tough time against India's Gukesh this year, losing multiple times to the teenager. So maybe this isn't about food or bed bugs, maybe it's about something else. Maybe that's really what this story here is about. It's not about the food, the hotel views, or the hotel facilities. It's about the West not wanting to give India an inch here. For decades, the power centers were Moscow, New York, Amsterdam. Now they're shifting. And some don't like that. Players like Vasily Ivanchuk and Anish Giri have praised the facilities, the hospitality, and the sheer scale of India's chess revolution. So yes, Nepomniachtchi and Caruana, correction, also his second, can complain about chicken and hotel windows, but while they do that, a new generation of Indian players are rewriting history. And the message should be this: if you can't handle the heat, maybe it's not India that needs to adjust. Lionel Messi is officially set to land in India this December as part of the GOAT Tour. And the buzz, the excitement, the absolute chaos around his arrival, it's already up there. Fans are counting down days. Organizers are building the hype up brick by brick. And for thousands of Indians, what once felt like just a distant dream, meeting Messi, might actually become real. But here's the catch. Something this big and something this historic has to come with a price. Now, a very heavy price at that. We're talking anywhere between $11,000 all the way up to a jaw-dropping $120,000. That's the kind of fever Messi is generating here in India. A fever people are ready to pay for. And wholeheartedly. The question is, will it control the damage that came from the Kerala snub? Now, Messi's road to India has been a roller coaster one. It all began with the massive buzz about Messi coming to Kerala for a high-profile friendly match. The excitement hit full tilt. Hotels started getting booked out. Fans began planning trips. Social media went nuclear. But then, of course, the brakes slammed and slammed down hard. Kerala couldn't clear the necessary requirements on time is what we hear, and suddenly the match was postponed. Which means even if that Kerala friendly were to happen next year, it's far away, it's uncertain, and definitely not happening anytime here in 2025. And that's exactly what makes the GOAT Tour this December so much more crucial. Multiple cities, massive exhibition events, an entire lineup built around Messi's presence. And most importantly, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for fans to get up close. And I mean really close to the man himself. This isn't your typical wave from a distance kind of moment. This is an actual personal meet and greet. And naturally, organizers are capitalizing on it. It's business, and it's with Messi. Business is booming. Fans are hyped, organizers are cashing in, and the prices, well, they speak for themselves. The official packages announced for Messi's India tour are nothing short of premium, and the top tier ones stretch all the way up to a whopping mark. Now, first, of course, is the GOAT fan experience. A private meet and greet, a professional photo with Messi, autographed jersey, a luxury dinner and special access to a session where Messi takes penalty kicks with Bollywood celebrities. Next up is clearly for people who want to create a generational memory and are ready to pay like it. This includes a family meet and greet, 2 signed jerseys, a photo session, and exclusive access to a premium dinner. And last is a special package, and that's priced at $120,000. It involves a corporate felicitation, a lifetime memento opportunity, a meet and greet, a photo opportunity for the corporate team, an autographed Argentina jersey, among other benefits. But let's be clear, this isn't just a football event, it's a cultural moment. The biggest football superstar on the planet visiting a country where football culture is exploding. Youth followership is skyrocketing, and social media amplifies everything 1,000 times. This is India telling the world we are ready for mega sporting experiences, and organizers, of course, seeing that energy, now pushing the envelope with big ticket packages, premium hospitality, global standard events, and of course, celebrity driven hype. Now, whether you think the price points are fair or absolutely outrageous, that depends on how you see Messi. For some, he's just a footballer. For others, he's a once-in-a-lifetime legend. So for many, this is huge. But this is one thing everyone needs to remember. The same happened in Hong Kong. Fans paid for meet and greets, but that didn't happen. And that led to a massive backlash. So it's not just about fans shelling out the big bucks, it's about the supporters showing faith in the organizers. And this time there cannot be a repeat of Hong Kong. The fallout was massive and Messi had to apologize back then. A reason why, when Kerala didn't happen, the organizers added Hyderabad to the calendar. They had to. A reflection of their commitment towards fans from every region. So while they are doing everything to capitalize on this buzz, they also have the additional responsibility of delivering. Of Messi delivering. And can they do it? As December approaches, one thing is certain. Messi's India tour is about to be one of the most talked about sports events of the year. The expenses are high, the hype is higher, and the expectations, that's gone through the roof already. But for fans who spent their entire lives watching him on their screens, getting to meet that hero might just be worth every single dollar spent. The future of Indian football once again hangs by the thread, and this time the blame lies squarely with the All India Football Federation, because when the AIFF put the Indian Super League's commercial rights up for sale, no one showed up. Players are begging, clubs are collapsing, Indian football is bleeding. And now, in a desperate turn, calls are growing for the BCCI, the Indian Cricket Board, to step in and save the sport. But can cricket really rescue football? And more importantly, should it? Now, football in India may not be the most popular sport in the country, but what it does have is a lot of soul. A century-old history, clubs that were born way before an independent India, a fan base that paints entire cities in their colors, and players who've given their everything to make this country believe that India can one day stand tall in world football. But the real battle has never been on the pitch. It's in the boardrooms, against those who were supposed to protect the game. For months now, the ISL's fate has been in a state of limbo. First came a long courtroom war between the AIFF and their commercial partners. When the Supreme Court finally cleared the decks, it was supposed to be the launch of a new dawn. But instead, it's been another disaster. The AIFF put the ISL's commercial rights for the next 15 years up for grabs, and not a single bid came through. That's when panic set in. Mohan Bagan has suspended operations, Bengaluru FC, Chennai FC, uncertainty everywhere. And what's worse, now the top players who wore that shirt with pride are begging for a way out. Those pleas from our country's pride should mean something. Sunil Chhetri, Sandesh Jhingan, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, names that built Indian football, are now pleading in unison for a future to come about. When a legend like Chhetri, the fourth highest goal scorer in world football, says, "We have been in the dark for too long," you know the sport has hit rock bottom. For him, it isn't about money or fame. This is about saving a legacy he worked hard to build. He wants Indian football to grow, not regress after what he did for the sport. The call for help has now reached the richest cricket board in the world, the BCCI. Now, yes, cricket's governing body in the country.
My appeal is to the BCCI. If they can sponsor Indian football for even 4 or 5 years, it would make a massive difference. For them, rupees 100 to 150 crore is not a big sum. If they take responsibility, Indian football can move forward in a better way.
Question is, will they and should they? Now, let's be honest, $17 million is pocket change for the BCCI, as the East Bengal executive himself says. But does that mean the AIFF uses BCI as an ATM? Now, they build empires. How? Through a mindset and members who work on the growth of the sport. So clearly, this can't be a one-way deal. And no, we aren't talking about revenue. We're talking about being invested all the way. And this is exactly what AIFF wouldn't want. Reportedly, 5 or 6 organizations were interested in bidding for the ISL, but they all backed out because AIFF wanted the money, not the accountability. Reports say the federation offered just 1 seat out of 6 on the ISL's governing council. That's like asking investors to fund your project, help build your ambitions, but never question how you ultimately run it. So here we are, a $1 billion opportunity buried under a red tape of egos. If the BCCI steps in, it could be a game changer. We've seen what they've done with the IPL, what they did with women's cricket. They made it profitable. They built systems, not just tournaments. But AIFF isn't ready for that kind of overhaul. They want help without losing the power, and that right there is the problem. Because this isn't about lack of funds, it's about a lack of vision. Football in India doesn't need charity, it needs leadership. It needs someone to build academies, nurture talent, and turn local passion into a professional structure. And it needs a federation that listens, not one that hides behind committees and politics. The tragedy is the world is ready for Indian football. The fans have been ready forever. The players are more skilled, fitter, and more ambitious than ever before. But the system isn't equipped. And if things don't change soon, India's dream of becoming a football powerhouse will remain just that, a dream. So maybe the question isn't, can BCCI save Indian football? The real question should be, when will AIFF stop destroying the sport? Because this is a body that cares more about its own recognition than about football itself. They brag about their so-called 10-year plans, but never about the reality that's staring at them today. They hide behind glossy press conferences, but when it comes to accountability, they leave no trace. The truth is simple. India deserves better, because right now the board that should be giving football a platform to shine is the one stopping it from doing so.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all 3 just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.